We've been to a convention this month, but what games from that might make our game of the month?
So August, it's been hot, it's been busy. We went to a convention, we went to A.R.T Northwest.
We did. We also went on holiday.
Played,
took travel games with us for the family.
But of all the games we have played in August, my favourite was Art Project.
Yeah, that was fantastic.
This is a game I've been looking forward to for quite a long time. It's been on my radar for a while, designed by the person who made After Us with artwork by Vincent Dutray. So that is a beautiful marriage for me. Now, I don't quite know how we haven't got chance to get this yet. It's been sold out quite a lot and been very tricky to get hold of. So we bumped into Z and Camilla from the Dice Tower when we were at Aircon, and we were looking over the shelves and trying to work out what game we could all play together within the amount of time we had.
Yeah, they had some meetings and stuff, and so we only had a short period of time for something to pick, and we did say to them, pick something that you'd like to play.
Playing. And yeah, so Z picked this off the shelf, we checked it out and we sat down, and it's a slightly surreal experience where someone we've watched doing explanation videos on YouTube on our screen was then in front of us without a screen. I could reach over and touch him if I wanted. I didn't think that would be weird. But it was very strange hearing his voice as he explained what we needed to do.
Yeah, much like you do in the sort of when they do the reviews, and then you've got that little how to play bit before. Yeah,
it felt a lot like that.
Yeah.
And it's a really great game. It's going about playing cards down, which will give you access to rescuing art from the bad thieves to then return, presumably, to art galleries. Yay for us, aren't we great? So it's entirely cooperatively. So you need to play cards down that are going to either help you achieve a goal, a collective goal, or allow other people to do that, while factoring in what resources it's going to take to do that goal and what resources it's going to return to the group, because there is a finite amount of resources. So juggling that and having everyone take their turns in an appropriate manner, which will set you up collectively to maybe then attack and get hold of the art if you manage to get it back onto the board, is a bit of a mind.
Yeah, and all whilst you're doing that, you're having to place these sort of white hand gloves down in different places, which makes it harder and harder to defeat each of those places, and could actually make somewhere be overrun, and then you'd end up basically having to close it, which would then stop you from being able to travel through it and can really cause you an awful lot of headaches. So managing where those things are going, where you are, what's accessible to you with the amount of gasoline that you've actually got, how many players are able to get to somewhere to sort of firefight these problem areas.
When you're going to try to get the art, the more of you there, the more dice you're rolling. And you can actually recruit people. You can recruit extra dice, which then contribute to your dice roll.
Yes.
And as you're progressing through the game, the ability to get this art from the white hand gets harder and harder and harder. So you need those recruits in there. You need to have the ability to re-roll bad dice rolls. So it does end up a very delicate balancing act. But the one thing that was most impressive about Art Project was we played the kind of opening Japan board.
Yeah.
And I thought, this is great.
Yeah.
I could play this multiple times. I can imagine, the card play, which art we'd be able to have access to or change each time we play.
Yeah.
And I thought, there's an alternative map on the back. That's good too. That's going to give it extra legs. And that's when Z pointed out that in the box there was multiple maps.
Yeah.
There's loads of the things.
Loads of them.
Each one double-sided.
Yeah, each one doing slightly different rules, so it's almost, you could probably play them through like a little mini campaign or something, but they're all taking a slightly different twist or a slightly different rule set on to keep it really fresh. It's not just, this map looks different, the route looks different. There's one of them that's in a straight line, so obviously if you let any of those cities burn, you're going to be stuck either side of it. You're never going to be able to traverse.
And imagine if your team was split up. That's going to be, hard. But then if we're all on one side, then impossible. You can't finish that map. And I thought that was incredibly generous. This game is distributed in the UK by Hachette. And I think the amount of content you're getting in here, it feels like you're getting like a super duper Kickstarter Advanced Deluxe version with all the kind of expansions thrown in. It's just really generous. And it's got so many options that I can just imagine us keep playing this game over and over again.
Well, and I really liked the resources, actually, those walkie-talkies, the gasoline, the hands, even the crates that you're putting up to then get the track. So the idea is you've got all of those crates full of art to complete across every element of that track in order to win. And we did win.
We did win. It was glorious. Only just. And I think it largely came down to you having a very decisive role. You needed to help out the team. It's just you against the white hand, and you rolled 3 sixes.
Yeah.
What a glorious moment that was.
Like the devil, but I did, yeah.
All right, we're playing the art project. We had a tough fight that just happened there, and I say tough in the silliest of ways because our champ over here just rolled 3 sixes. You have the devil's mark upon you. It's going all right. I think we're on our way to maybe victory? What do you think? Am I jinxing it?
You're absolutely jinxing it. Yeah, we are.
Oh, yeah. Jinx?
Slow demise.
I think Z and Camilla were silently impressed.
Yeah, they basically said I needed to lead every
You in
turn
charge from then
from
on.
that point onwards. And then those that didn't lead after me somehow rolled the 1s or 2s, so we kept me being captain as much as
You were the
possible.
hero. But don't sleep on this game. It's we've let it pass us by for far too long. I really, really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I think it's right up your street in terms of sort of theme and art and everything. It's got Julian written all over it, that one. I'm going to go this month with a game that we've been chomping at the bit to play for a while.
Probably because it has Julian written all over it as well.
It does. It really does. It really does. And we were hoping to play it a few weeks back, but didn't get the time to do that. And that is ARCs from Leader Games. So obviously we both really, really enjoy Root. And I potentially would have said Root, but I said that last month. Because we entered the Root tournament up at AirCon,
We did.
which was really, really fun. It was just a fun game of it, really. But ARCs, I think, pips it to the post. That's something fresh, something new, some expectations that you'd maybe had of the game, and then to really see it working in person is always great fun, isn't it? And it's interesting because everyone says, oh, right, you're going to have to be really aggressive in this one. And I think a lot of people sort of sit down to the table expecting to kind of come out guns blazing. I think that you
I
did that.
took that to far too much of a conclusion.
But I actually, and I have no problem being aggressive in games. I mean, I played the rats in Root, so, but I actually ended up playing a more of a card-based sort of kidnap style game rather than a gun shooting ships kind of game. And it was interesting to see that it did have a lot of options to victory and a lot of ways to work things around. And it's one of those games where you've played it once and then you think, right, I want to try playing it this way and this way, and what would have happened if I did this and this. It seems like there's a whole world to explore there in terms of different ways of playing it. And you're quite limited as to when you can lead a trick and potentially put down the options as to what you're going to score in. And that tightness I found really interesting, that it's not just be the best at something and you're going to be able to score it. You've also got to get the board in a position that tells everyone that that is going to score at the end of that round, and trying to make those two things work with what you've got in your hand. Your cards might not even allow you to score that thing. So can you sort of coax someone else into triggering that score without them noticing that you're doing well in that area, and sort of saving that to the end to kind of come in and blast through in a certain area. There's so much going on in this game. I really like the slingshot where you can
get
sort
ships
of
around.
You can sort of swish through and come around if there's nothing in your path, and really traverse that world on certain moves. That was fun as well.
Now you mentioned trick taking, and it's interesting that it is being labelled as this kind of trick taker. Obviously it plays very, very differently to Root. This isn't a Root in space style game at all.
No.
But the tricks it's not a case of everyone has to kind of beat the trump, and it's interesting how you have multiple options of which cards you can play. Because obviously following the starting, the trump suit is beneficial, but if you can't do that, that's not going to be curtains for your gameplay. There's other options you can take, and I think, yeah, too many people are kind of getting fixated on this just being a space-based trick taker.
It doesn't feel like a trick taker to me at all. It feels like you're just a card beater. And there are options with that. You don't need to play by suit. You can play something different. You can play a card face down and then follow what someone else the leader has done. You're not matching things up and trying to create anything that you would in a normal trick taker. So, I mean, I see that kind of you're trying to take the lead card to be able to be in a prime position for the following round. But in terms of trick taking, I think I would take that very loosely.
And we've only just scratched the surface of this game. So we've only played through once. But we've gone crazy.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we've gone all in and brought everything so far that is available for ARCs. I mean, why not?
We've got the lovely little ships with their washes on them that look lovely. Not that the wooden ones don't, but these look great. I love the art of this. Obviously, the traditional kind of leader game style present in this, which has that kind of whimsy that I do like. But I'm really looking forward to spending some time going through the whole campaign. And seeing how the game evolves, because there's even sections in the base game board that you just kind of ignore. They're not relevant when you're playing just the kind of introductory base game. So there's a lot of legs in this. There's a lot to come. Yeah,
but and without even any of that, I'm interested in just playing at different player counts, playing different styles of games, trying out different things, and just seeing what happens, experimenting with this game. So one that I really, really enjoyed and looking to get to grips with more. Yeah.
But what has been your favourite game this month?
Yeah, we would love to hear from you. Let us know in those comments.
Have you played ART Project? Have you played ARCs? What do you think of them? Tell us down below. And of course, if you are looking at buying either of these, good place to go to find a local game store.
It is indeed, and of course for us in the southeast of England here, it is Chaos Cards, and as usual you will find a discount code in the description, so if you are looking to buy online then you can pop that in and save yourself a few pennies.
If you enter that code and you're finding it's not working, what's going on here, don't worry, check our latest video for the latest codes, because we do refresh those quite frequently to allow you to have repeated uses of the code. And that's worth checking on the latest one. If you are new to this channel, please consider subscribing. And as always, thanks so much for watching.
Bye.